We're back. I guess we're not having conversations in the car right now. We're having conversations in our living room. And so hopefully they're as good as our conversations in the car. But still probably doing a little reflecting. We went to the funeral that we discussed that we were going to go to. And it was a really good funeral as funerals go. A lot of laughing as they remembered this woman. And that's the best kind of funeral. There's no reason to be there is a lot of reason to be sad, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to not sit around and just cry because that person impacted your life in hopefully a good way. And so it's nice to remember the good things and laugh at all the funny things that they said or did and just enjoy that they lived. And there will still be tears, and there's going to be tears coming, and had to kind of talk to my cousins, their daughters, or this woman's daughters, and just say, we're here if you need us. We know what it's like because we went through that too. That next couple of weeks after the funeral is hard, and sometimes longer. But I mean, it's not that I didn't love or miss my mother, but it was a good 2 weeks of just feeling like your chest was being ripped open and your heart had been completely broken and shattered. And eventually it kind of got surreal for me, in a good way, just because I started to feel like I knew she was here at some point. I'm here because she was here, and I have memories of her. But it was almost a disjointed feeling that even though I knew her and she lived and I loved her, that was another life, and now I'm in a different life. And that may not make any sense whatsoever, but it was actually a relief to finally get to that point so that I could live my life. Because when she died, I thought, how am I going to live 40 or 50 more years without my mother? She's always been there for me to call, and next time I see her, I'm going to be dead. And fortunately, for me, I believe in life after death. That's what keeps me going, and both of us going, is believing that we will see her again someday. So if that's not an attitude or a belief that a person has, that probably makes it a little rougher to lose someone they love. But for us, it is a relief to have that kind of attitude. And anyway, so the funeral was a nice funeral. Just reflecting on all the good times that she had and the kind of person she was, and just kind of mother and grandmother.
It was more a celebration of her life, mm-hmm. and it highlighted her spunky personality and her great sense of humor. And there was a lot of laughing at that funeral as people told stories and recollections about her. It was a really, really good way to send someone off. And that's what I want when I go. I want my funeral to be a celebration of my life and till we meet again type of goodbye. And yes, there might be sadness. I don't know. There might not be any sadness, but it's just remember it gets easier after a while. It gets easier, and then you just have to look back on the good memories that you had with that person and smile and reflect on all that person did for you, especially with our mom. She was an angel. She was one of the best moms ever. And I wish I could have been half the mom that she was, but we just knowing we'll see her again, like Edie said, and knowing that she's not that far away,
yeah.
that helps.
I had a friend just pass away this past Christmas Day, and she didn't have a funeral. She didn't want a funeral. She just asked that her 2 kids and her husband have a party, and that they kind of toast her on her way and enjoy all the good memories. And so that's what they did. And I don't even think they did any sort of graveside services, except probably for the 2 kids and the husband. And that was nice, I think. I don't know that many people. I have no kids, so I'm not going to be leaving any posterity behind, and so no one may come to my funeral, and I'd be fine if it was just a graveside service. I like Amazing Grace. I would like that to be played on bagpipes to send me on my way. And if there are a few good memories that somebody wants to share, good for them if they actually show up, because I don't expect more than about maybe 8 or 10 people to come. And
I'll be there. I know I'll probably go before she does because I'm older than she is, but I'll be there anyway.
Okay.
I'll be there. I'll say,
maybe
hey,
I'll be there.
Come on, let's go play.
maybe I'll be there too. Just nobody will see me. But anyways, it just always reminds us that we leave behind pieces of ourselves, even if you don't have children. But that's typically who you leave it behind, is with your children or your grandchildren, is that they see little bits of you in them. But
she has nieces and nephews who love her. So
well, and even not family. I hope that I'm leaving behind some kind of a legacy of either fun, wisdom, knowledge, kindness, something, adventure, living life fully. I hope that when I go, somebody will have been glad I was here, that my time wasn't wasted, that it was well spent, and it impacted somebody in a good way. It probably impacted a lot of people in a bad way, but I hope that somebody got something good out of me being here for however many years I'm here. So anyway, so we did that, and we're just kind of reflecting again, and you'll probably get bored with our reflections. Hopefully not, but we know some of you want to see some more recipes. We're in the works on some things. Mm-hmm. We actually eat very simply. We're both happy with a sweet potato with some chopped up vegetables, some carrots, cucumbers, onions, and pouring salsa all over it, and some black beans. That's a really good meal to us. So we're pretty simple. We don't really have a ton of recipes, but we're working on some.
But I did find a recipe the other day, and I am going to give it a try. It sounds really good. And when I do, then we'll share it with you.
Yeah. But we've now got 3 smoothie recipes out there, and we like them all. And some of you have said you might even give them a try. So if you find a way to make it better, especially the blueberry lemon, let us know, because that was a trial run for us. And certainly there may be ways to even enhance it, though. It was pretty good. That lemon powder is a really, really good flavor. And so if you find better ways to do our recipes or our smoothies, let us know. I actually wanted to share too, that's why I have my glasses out here, because I'm over 50 years old and I can't read without glasses. But I thought I was reading this book by Ray Blackston. It's called The Delirious Summer. And I
thought it said delicious.
Oh, a delicious summer would be
good
too.
I was really interested. It's delirious. That's my everyday. So.
Yeah, the book is medium. I mean, that's not really the big takeaway from this. Is there was a quote in it I absolutely loved. It says, "We spend vast amounts of time and energy crafting a thesis in our heads of how life should play out. Then Almighty God spends an incredibly brief amount of time blowing our thesis to bits." And that is so true of life. I heard or read somewhere one time where somebody said that every time he hears somebody sigh and say life is hard, he is tempted to ask, compared to what? And I always remember that when I think that things are getting kind of hard, or maybe it's getting, why does it have to be this way? What other way is it going to be? I guess it could be all roses and that we have no trials or adversities whatsoever. But that's actually not the way it is. So
again, this goes back to personal growth. We've talked about this before, but if your life is just status quo, how are you going to grow? How are you going to learn more things? If you don't have obstacles put in your path, how are you going to learn? That's how I feel. I think that the trials that we're given and the hard things that we have to overcome, they're all learning experiences, and they all help us to stretch ourselves and to grow.
I think adversities and trials also help chip away pieces of us that we don't need, like stubbornness, mm-hmm. pride, I guess sometimes just not having the integrity you need. Sometimes going through trials and that sort of thing, or adversities, help bring out those things that you needed to have in your life, because we're both extremely stubborn. Not with each other, though. We've never had a problem with each other, but the worst thing you can ever do is challenge me, because I don't take challenges and I don't take dares. I just think that's stupid. But if you like them, go ahead and do them.
And we'll tell you.
Yeah, that's what and somebody actually dared me one time to do something. I thought, seriously? Why would I do something because you dared me? That seems like the stupidest thing in the world. But that's me. If you like a dare, you go do it. But so I'm extremely stubborn. And but sometimes a good adversity, is there a good adversity? An adversity, I don't know, or a trial helps you to kind of chip away at some of those things you don't need, helps you to really too. And when you're going through a rough time, and this is even what losing weight did for us and growing up chubby, is it gave us a lot of empathy for other people. And I think sometimes that's what your trials do too. Whatever they're in, it doesn't have to be weight. It can be something else, whatever the case is. You may have a learning disability. You look at yourself, what kind of empathy do you have for other people who have learning disabilities, or whatever is your issue?
Or a weight issue, or any kind of an issue. Well, our job as humans, I think, is just to have empathy and help others, and just don't judge.
Yeah, the best way, I think, to learn empathy, and some people are really born with that. That's a gift for some people. They just feel empathetic towards other people going through trials. I can feel sorry for somebody going through a trial because I can imagine how hard it is, but I don't know how hard it is, except for somebody who's really battling their weight like we did and struggling. I feel a lot of empathy for them because I know how hard that particular journey is. And so for that, I'm able to reach out now and say, okay, this is what we found. And your journey isn't going to look like our journey. You're not going to like the same foods. You're not going to like the same menus, the same schedule. But maybe we can share some ideas and things to help somebody else get started. But whatever that is, whatever your struggle is, or whatever you're going through, or you might be able to help somebody else get through that same thing down the road. And that's also part of what trials and adversities and challenges do, is give us empathy for other people. I always feel like God could have done anything he wanted on this earth. This is his world. He made the rules. He's the one who dictates how things go down and when we're leaving it. But he chose to let us be his hands to reach out to others. He didn't have to get us involved, but that's what he decided to do, is to let us be involved in each other's lives. However that works for you. We're real introverts. We're very loners. We're not shy. We just are not people who like crowds around us. And I don't mean mall crowds. I didn't walk through a mall. I mean party crowds. You already know I hate parties. So I don't do that kind of stuff, but I can sit around and talk one-on-one with just about anybody who interests me, and often do. And sometimes we've had to watch people say, okay, I got to go because they've stayed captured in our living room. And not very many people come over and visit, but we do have a couple of them who do, and I can sit and talk for hours, and they know it, so they have to schedule that around us. But anyways, but you have to still be who you are. But that's part of the key, is that whoever you are, whether you're outgoing, you're an introvert, whatever the case is, you get to be who you are and use that to help others and be empathetic. So anywho, I don't know. Hopefully that was an interesting message.
Well, to go along with that, and just allow other people to be who they are.
Yes.
You be who you are, allow other people to be who they are, have empathy, and help your fellow man whenever you can, and just be a good person. That's what we're hoping to do before we finally leave this world, is one day we hope to just be good people.
Yeah, no, we've talked before that growing up, we felt like we were supposed to be someone we weren't, to fit in with the crowd. And of course, that's just being a teenager. You never feel like you fit in, and you want to fit in, so you take on a persona of who you're not. And as we've gotten older, we've embraced who we are and realized we don't like crowds. And we're
introverts.
Yeah, not really. I'm a horrible friend. I really am a lousy friend. I don't really nurture relationships very well. I don't know. It's just something wrong with me, I guess. I don't know. But I don't think, though. I mean, I think that all of that works into be who you are to other people. Whatever that person who comes into your life needs is what you're able to give to them at that time. That's why they're in your life, is because there's something you can offer to them. So, all right, now we're babbling. So.
Okay, and this had nothing to do with nutrition and nothing to do with hardly anything, but just thoughts that we thought we'd share.
Found them on the heels of a funeral, and just some things we were talking about. We'll get back to nutrition and health. Hang in there, don't go away. We'll be back with something better.